Hello everyone, and welcome to today's story, a chilling journey into the mysterious and terrifying world of love spells. Buckle up, because this tale is not for the faint-hearted. It all began when I was sent to a remote, secluded village for work. The place was otherworldly, surrounded by dense forests and endless swamps. The villagers were warm but wary, as if guarding secrets older than time itself. And it wasn't long before I stumbled upon one of those secrets. They whispered about a local shaman, a powerful, almost mythical figure who could craft love spells that were said to bind hearts forever. But there was a catch. These spells came with unspeakable rituals, conducted in a cursed area deep within the swamp. Intrigued, I pressed for more details, but the villagers refused to elaborate. Only one elder, after much persuasion, shared the story that haunted my dreams for weeks. "Are you sure you want to hear this?" the elder asked, his voice low and trembling. "Yes," I replied firmly. "I need to know." The elder sighed deeply, his gaze fixed on the ground. "Very well," he said, "but once you hear it, you may wish you hadn't." The ritual required the seeker to live on the shaman's land for 7 days and nights. The area was a nightmare, a vast, murky expanse filled with decaying trees, scattered bones, and the stench of death. It was said that restless spirits roamed the place, and shadows seemed to move even when the sun shone bright. The seeker had to endure these horrors while the shaman prepared the spell using unholy ingredients: bones of infants stolen from graves, strands of hair, fingernails, and finally, a drop of the seeker's blood. This blood was the seal, the final binding agent that locked the spell into place. How could anyone agree to something so horrifying? I asked, horrified. The elder shook his head. "Desperation," he said. "Love, or the illusion of it, can make people blind to reason." The elder's tale didn't end there. Years ago, a soldier stationed in the area had fallen victim to such a spell. Handsome and charismatic, he had caught the eye of a local girl who was determined to make him hers. Despite his protests, she performed the ritual. The soldier became entranced, abandoning his wife and children to remain with her. His family tried everything to bring him home, but even when they succeeded, he'd always find his way back to her, as if drawn by invisible chains. Did they ever free him? I asked, leaning forward in my seat. "Eventually," the elder replied. His family sought help from another shaman to break the spell. The process was arduous and dangerous, involving prayers, offerings, and even burning the very ground where the ritual had taken place. What happened to the woman who cast the spell? I pressed. The elder's expression darkened. When the spell broke, it rebounded onto her, he said. Her health deteriorated rapidly, and she was plagued by nightmares of the spirits she had disturbed. To this day, her shadow lingers in the village, begging for forgiveness. The elder paused for a moment, his face reflecting a mix of pity and fear. "You must understand," he continued, "these spells are not just rituals. They are contracts with forces we barely comprehend. Each spell takes its toll, not just on the victim, but also on the caster." I felt a chill run down my spine as he spoke, his words pulling me deeper into the web of his tale. "Have you ever seen this happen yourself?" I asked, almost afraid of the answer. The elder nodded slowly. "There was another case," he said, "a young man from the neighboring village. He sought a spell to win the love of a woman who had rejected him. The shaman warned him of the price, but he insisted. He was determined." "What happened?" I asked, unable to hide my curiosity. "At first, it seemed to work," the elder said. "The woman fell for him, deeply and inexplicably. But soon, her health began to fail. She became withdrawn, haunted by nightmares and strange visions. The young man, consumed by guilt, returned to the shaman to undo the spell. But by then, it was too late. The spirits demanded their due." "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "The young man fell ill," the elder said. "He wasted away, as if his life force was being drained. The woman, too, became a shadow of herself. In the end, neither survived. Their story became a warning to all who dared to meddle with such powers." "Have there been more?" I asked, unable to stop myself. The stories seemed to go on and on. The elder nodded solemnly. "Too many. One woman used a spell to keep her husband from leaving her. It worked, but he lost his mind, muttering to himself, unable to sleep. Eventually, he wandered into the swamp one night and never returned. The spirits took him." This was only one story among many. The elder spoke of others who had been ensnared by love spells. Some had met tragic ends, while others lived cursed lives, haunted by the consequences of tampering with such dark forces. The stories were eerily similar, each victim suffering in ways that defied logic and reason. As I left the village, the elder's final words echoed in my mind. Love is powerful, but forcing it through dark means only invites doom. Remember this, young one, and tread carefully in matters of the heart. I couldn't shake the images his words had painted in my mind. The cursed swamp, the restless spirits, and the faces of those who had fallen victim to their own desires. It was as if the air itself had grown heavier, pressing down on me as I walked away. The villagers' warnings, the dark stories, and the elder's grave tone stayed with me long after I returned home. I even found myself looking over my shoulder, as if shadows from the swamp had followed me back. And so, dear listeners, I leave you with this tale as both a warning and a reminder. What do you think about these chilling accounts of love spells? Do you believe such things exist, or are they merely stories meant to scare the curious away? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. More spine-tingling tales are coming your way, and I promise, each one will keep you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. Bye for now.